Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live chat with Amy. So happy to have you here. And if you haven't connected with me yet, my name is Amy Yamada, and I'm here to help you to deeply connect with yourself, your vision, and your ideal clients so that you can create the impact and the income that you've always wanted. So today's topic has been something that I recently have been asked about. I was talking to someone on a call the other day, and it was an entrepreneur, and she's invested in coaches over the last couple of years, and she's like, yeah, I just feel like I need to be really clear and intentional about who I select as my next coach. And it got me thinking about this, and in fact, I was thinking back to when I first launched my business, which technically was on 11/11/11, fun fact, even though at the time I was still contracting with the magazine I used to work for, and I was juggling a lot of other things. So for the first couple of years, I was really trying to just find my way and figure out what it was that I was even doing. And at first, I thought to myself, well, gosh, I've got 15 plus years of experience in the media. I can totally do this on my own. I've been consulting business owners for a very long time. And so I had very much I don't need anyone to help me, and I can figure it out on my own. I definitely had a lot of ego going on. And so initially I got started just, researching things on my own, getting things started, building a website, all these types of things. And then I got to a point where I realized that things were not progressing as quickly as I would have hoped. So I decided to look into coaching, like as far as hiring my own business coach. And I was really focusing on the local market at the time. I live in the Seattle area. And I went to some local events and was networking and connecting with coaches there. And I ended up working with a couple of local coaches, kind of back to back. And they had these small packages. So I'd work with them for like 3 sessions or for like a month or 2. And they were really great people. I did learn a lot from them. But I know that my decisions were based on what can I get at the least amount of money? Like what's the cheapest I can get to get some guidance and support? And I realize now looking back that this was very much scarcity-based thinking and scarcity-based decision-making. And I was even trying to negotiate deals, maybe I can do some trade with them and help them with something, and just really nickel and dime a little bit. Looking back, I know I was trying to be strategic at the time and do the best I could, but when I look back now, I can see clearly that I was very scarcity-based. And fast forward to now, and over the last handful of years, I now invest in high-level coaching because it's just that whole thing of what you put into it is what you get out of it. And it's not like I just went blindly from one to the other. There was steps in between. I looked into online courses. I know there's some popular 8-week or 12-week online courses that are not live coaching, but they're kind of on this do-it-yourself terms. And even those were really powerful in terms of the content, and admittedly, I didn't complete them. So my point is, initially, I was making some mistakes that I see a lot of entrepreneurs make when they select their coach, and I was deciding things based on how much they cost and what I thought I could do at the time, instead of being vision-based and really thinking about where do I see myself going, like hiring for the company I want in 3 years versus feeling stressed out now at that time. So, now I know I've mentioned Shanda Sumter many times, and I've been her client for multiple years, and every year I've gone to the next level, and now I'm at the top tier of coaching with her, and I do get both a really great community as well as private coaching with her, and it's been amazing. Now I invest at a very high level, and I'm committed to being so open and so coachable. So today, originally I was going to share 3 things to think about when you're thinking about your next coach. And I actually came up with 5, and I'm sure there's even more than that, so I wanted to share that with you. So, okay, so if you're looking for your next coach, or even if you're just reevaluating where you are now and thinking ahead about where it is that you want to go, this is a chance to just take a moment, think about where you are in your journey, and here are some really essential tips to think about in hiring your next coach. So the first thing, of course, knowing me, is all about connection. Do you feel a connection with the coach that you're considering working with? If you don't feel a connection, then it's not likely that you will, feel a connection while you're working with them. If you don't align with them, if you don't feel that they get you, then there is a disconnect. So one thing that's really important to me is to really feel a connection with the person I'm working with. More than their strategies, more than anything like that. If I don't feel a connection, then I don't see it as something where I'm going to be excited to connecting with them on a frequent basis. The second thing is to ask yourself, have they achieved the very thing that you want to achieve? Like, what is it that you want? Like, what is your big vision? What do you want? What is your why? Have they achieved what you want to achieve? So, for example, when I think about even my own coach, right? I mean, I have coaches in several areas of my life, but when I think about Shanda, for example, I think about how she has built a multiple 7-figure coaching business, and she is creating a really great life for herself and her family. She takes time off to travel, so she has created what I seek to create, and I'm already doing it. Like, I'm already in motion, and it's been happening, and I'm traveling myself, and I'm in a great relationship. And so I look at my coach as someone who has achieved what I would like to achieve, and she continues to grow. So that's kind of another side tip, actually. So if you're coaching alongside someone, or coaching, having somebody that you work with as your coach, do you see them as someone who's continuing to grow, or have they stopped? Because sometimes entrepreneurs will get to a certain point and then they'll stop. They're like, oh, I'm good. So if you're someone who's working, as their client, and they're not growing, then you're going to be a reflection of one another. So think of it that way, So just think about, okay, so bring it back. Number one, feel a connection with them. Number two, have they achieved what you want to achieve? Or another way of looking at it is, have they overcome what you would like to overcome? It's really great when they have, because then they can really relate to where you are now in relation to where you want to go, and they've already gotten to that other side of it, so that you don't have to figure it all out on your own. I love that I have both a coach and a community that I can reach out to anytime. Anytime I feel stuck, or anytime I feel a block or a mindset, limiting belief where I'm like, okay, I'm feeling stuck right now. And I know that I'm surrounded by people who have overcome the very things that I am on this side of, and ready to overcome. Does that make sense? So that's another important one. The third thing is to ask yourself, if you're considering a coach, is this the type of person that I want to be influenced by? Or for those of you who are grammar queens like me, by whom I want to be influenced, right? Like, who do you want to be influenced by, and who are you surrounding yourself with? And I know there's that popular quote we've probably all heard, which is, you are a reflection of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So this is a good chance to look at your circle of influence and say, how am I doing here? What is the reflection that I'm seeing? And who is the coach I'm considering? Do I want to be influenced by this person? Or do they stand for something that I am actually against, or out of integrity, that kind of a thing? So it's just good to think about that word influence. And then the next tip, I hope this is helpful. The next tip is, what kind of offers do they have? Meaning, so I know sometimes when I talk to people, I talk to entrepreneurs every day all over the world, and sometimes they are really seeking working with a coach one-on-one, or they're really seeking a community. And so they're really clear on what their vision is. Now, I used to think that I only wanted to work with a coach one-on-one, like for me being the client to a coach. And then once I became a part of a really amazing community, I realized the value and the benefit of not only having a great coach, but also having a really great community. So it's just about thinking about what resonates with you, and then asking those questions like, what's important to you? What is your vision? What does this coach recommend to you? What are their offers? And if you resonate with them, like I said, I used to early on invest in cheaper online courses. And the only problem with that for me was that, and I totally take responsibility for this, but I didn't finish them. I didn't have somebody holding me accountable. I know this is totally a story in my head. I would do them to a certain point, and then I would stop. So I realized what works for me is to be a part of a live coaching experience where there's a combination of in-person and online, and then I'm a part of a community, so I really feel like this support around me, even if we live all over the place. Like, I fly often to connect in with my community, So just thinking about what works for you and what type of offerings they have, and what you would be excited to be a part of. So that's another tip to think about. And then finally, the 5th thing is to be willing to invest. Like, be willing to invest. So sometimes I'll hear people say, well, gosh, like investing in a high-level coach is just so much money, and I just don't think I can do it. And I so understand this. I have heard this story many times, and I have been this story. I have spoken this story myself, especially in the first couple of years of growing a business. Like there's that kind of tug of war of just like, okay, I really want to grow my business. I want to have my next big breakthrough. And at the same time, I have no money because I haven't attracted clients yet, or I'm just not in that place, or I don't have money set aside for something like this. And at first I used to let that stop me. And then I started to really study successful people I truly admire. And I noticed a common thread, which is this: they make decisions that are in line with their vision. That's it, not scarcity. And they always find a way. So I started to practice this mindset of like, okay, what if it were possible? What if there were a way for me to invest in this level of coaching? And what if I opened my mind up to brainstorming ideas of how I could make this work? And whether I end up doing it now or later, at least I'm giving myself the chance to see what's possible. You know what I'm saying? So I just am all about opening up my mind to possibility. And that way I'm practicing a way of being. So as I've grown to this point in my journey, I'm not in fear or in scarcity when I'm making decisions. I'm not thinking about, can I afford this? Or, who might I think I can invest in this experience or what have you. So it's great to see all of you here. I'm going to say hi to a few of you. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Sherelle. Thank you for joining me. So I just wanted to open this up and see if you have any questions. So this is a good Ask Amy part of Chat with Amy. When I have time for it, I love to offer this opportunity. So think about an area of your business that you could use support in. Like, what would you say is the number one area that I could help you with? And go ahead and post your question right now, and I'm happy to help you. And this is the moment that I take a sip of coffee. Oh, I have a very funny story. I know it's backwards, but I got this package in the mail the other day. And I thought it was something else. Like I have one of those printers that sends a message when the ink is low. So I totally thought that I was getting ink in the mail, like an ink cartridge. But instead, I know it's backwards, it says, world's best looking salesperson. And I was like, what? And then it says small, like in the small letters, it says sales that don't suck. And I was like, oh my gosh, like there was no card with this or anything. But because of the name at the bottom, I knew that it's from Mara Glazer and Erica Martin. And I was on Mara Glazer's summit. Isn't that hilarious? I just busted up laughing. So I'm going to send her a little message today. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. So, okay, I'm not seeing any questions, but I know there's a little bit of a delay. So what can I help you with today? I'll also just keep talking because, that's what I do. Anything? You got anything for me? Okay. So I was going to add one more thing to this theme for today. When you're thinking about hiring your next coach, and this, by the way, I wanted to mention that this isn't just relevant to business coaching. This could be coaching in any arena. Like if you're looking for a weight loss coach, a relationship coach, I believe in coaching. I'm obsessed in this industry, and it's amazing how I've seen my way of being when I've been able to work with a great coach in leadership and business and fitness. Like it's amazing to see like how I step up my game when I've got a great coach and a great community. So one of the other things I was thinking about this morning was to think about what is the coach's point of view. So if you're looking for a coach in a certain industry, whether it's business, fitness, relationships, or what have you, you can really look at them and find out what do they believe to be true about what you need to do and get to do to achieve your desired result. And see if you're in alignment with it. Like see if you're in alignment with them and see if you're in alignment with their way of being and their point of view. Because if you are finding yourself battling their point of view and you're in their program and you're like the one person or the small percentage of people that's like almost like resistant to your coach like every single day, then it's just not ideal for you or the coach or the community because you've already decided that you have a different point of view than them, and so you're battling them on it on a daily basis, and maybe that coach is not your coach. You know what I mean? So I just invite you to really think about what is their point of view, do I resonate with it or not? And if you don't, then don't be attached to them being your coach, and they shouldn't be attached to you being their client either. Okay, Olivia, what is the best way to attract clients? Olivia, I mean, for me, I think there's so many, I know there are so many ways to attract clients. And in fact, one of the activities or exercises I had one of my clients do this week was to make a list of all the ways he could think of how to attract clients. And this is something that I did years ago when I found myself plateauing in a sales enrollment cycle. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like everything has stopped and what's wrong with me? I was like, okay, I know that's just a story in my head. So I got this big Post-it. I love the big Post-its that we can put on our walls. I've got several around me here. And I just wrote down bullet points of all the different ways to attract clients. Not for the goal of juggling 20 different ways. I think I ended up writing 20 different ways. Everything from email marketing to doing videos to speaking to networking to just anything I could think of, referrals. I mean, there's so many different ways. It's just about opening up your mind. So any of you could do this today, by the way. You could just make a list of all the different ways. And if you find yourself writing like 2 different ways and you're like, oh, I'm stuck, then do some research online, ask people around you. There are so many ways. Then once you have this long list of different ways, remember the key is not to juggle and try to master 20 different client attraction strategies. It's to look at this list and put a star next to your top 2, maybe 3 ways that align with you. So for example, one of my favorite ways to attract clients is to speak on stages. And I'm not speaking on stages all the time, but I've spoken on a few big stages and I continuously attract clients from stages I even spoke on last fall, So I love public speaking. I love speaking on stages. I love connecting in. And most people, it's like their number one fear. So speaking on stages is not going to be for everyone. Others love networking events. Others like to do online marketing funnels and really automate the process. That can be really powerful, and at the same time, it can take a while to crack the code of how to automate that process. So I would say, Olivia, it's about really first brainstorming all the ideas, and since you and I know each other, I can help you with that. And then selecting 2 or 3, and then being so committed to mastering those 2 to 3 strategies. So for me, my top 3 are email marketing. Like I love, building lists and email marketing. I love connecting through the written word. I love just connecting in, and I get a really great response from my email list. And then the second is, and this is not in any particular order, I call it in-person. And in-person to me is speaking from stages, referrals, and networking. So anytime I've gone to a networking event, anytime I've spoken on a stage, whether it's been a tiny stage or a massive stage, I always attract clients. And under that in-person is also referrals. I get really great referrals from my clients. And then the third way is through social media, and specifically organic social media. Like I've done Facebook advertising, and I know I'll do it again in the future. And at the same time, even through my personal Facebook page and my Instagram, I connect with people. I love connecting with entrepreneurs all over the world. And so organically, people rise to the surface and they private message me, or I private message them. We get to know each other. We jump on a call. I'm not attached. This is one key thing that I wish everybody would get, is I'm not attached to whether or not they become my client, and I'm committed to helping them any way I can. So I connect with enough people. That's why I'm all about connection and deeply connecting with my ideal clients all the time. And then knowing that when I connect with enough people, then a percentage of those people will want to go further with me. You know what I mean? So to bring it back, just make that list of all the different ideas you have of client attraction, and then pick your top 2 to 3 ways, and then be so committed to mastering them. Okay? Yeah, any other questions? Got a little quiet group today. So if you're watching the replay, go ahead and post your question below, and I'll be checking in later. So if I don't see any other questions today, then I will go ahead and wrap this one up. And if this has been helpful for you, I invite you to click on that share button, put a personal note, so that together we can make a difference for entrepreneurs who are purpose-driven and committed to making impact. Okay, I do see one more question. So, this is what always happens. Okay, Jamie, for someone just beginning to build an email list, what is your preferred way to build that list? So I would say there's 2 different ways that I like to do list building. One of them has been in Shanda Sumter's community, so I highly recommend her if you're wanting to do an online summit. So otherwise known as a reporter model, or a speaker series. So for the last few years, every summer, or I shouldn't say summer, it's always different times of year, but every year I've done an online summit where I've interviewed other experts, and that has helped me grow my email list. The other way I've done it is through an online challenge, meaning, so say if you were going to do like a 21-day meditation challenge or a 10-day clean eating challenge, or for me, I might do something like I might do a Facebook Live challenge to have people do Facebook Lives like this so that they can put themselves out there. So those have been some really great ways. So yeah, I would think about like what way aligns with you. Of course, you could do Facebook advertising and have an online marketing funnel to build a list. I even recently heard a really great strategy from Rob Kosberg, who was talking about how he's done Facebook advertising to drive traffic to a 2-day in-person event. And with that, he's been able to build his email list. So I know it's kind of a bigger question, Jamie, so you and I can totally connect in on that. I personally don't teach list building, and I'm connected to several people that are really great at teaching list building. So it's just about finding what way resonates with you. The other thing I would say is whenever I speak from a stage and I have the opportunity to collect leads, that's been a really powerful way. So when I spoke at the Zone event last year, which was in Palm Springs, there was over 700 entrepreneurs there. And when I did what they call a room drop, when they hand out cards to fill in your information to receive a gift, like I gave away a really generous gift, like 550 people filled out the card. So that added another 550 people to my email list. And that was a highly engaging list. So speaking from stages is a really great way to build a deep connection. And if you're on people's stages that allow you to do that, to do a room drop where you collect leads, or if you do a texting campaign in front of the audience to collect email addresses, it's a really great way. Plus my conversion rate and my open rate, my click-through rate in my emails has been super high with that particular list. So yeah, those are several ways. Let's see. Olivia, what are some key questions you asked to get to that deep connection? Well, Olivia, I feel like you're already so good at this, but these are great questions. What I would say is that I am my authentic self on my calls or when I'm networking. Like, I think sometimes, I was just talking to one of my clients about this. I think sometimes when people are in marketing mode, then instead of being their like natural authentic selves, they wear a mask or they sound different or they speak differently. And I used to do that too. When I first started in like advertising sales back in the day, I was nervous to get on a call. I was nervous to make offers. And then over the years, I just learned to just peel back the layers and just be me. Like, it's just being my authentic self, being respectful and being respected. And just really like, and now, especially in this journey with entrepreneurs, and I don't look at it as like, I'm this business person and they're the client, I'm like, we're all these beautiful souls that get to connect in. So I love to just bring that energy. And one of the things that I trained at my retreat was all about shifting, like knowing when to shift into what I call best friend energy. So if you met someone, like, you're only a stranger until you say hello, right? You're only a stranger until you say hello. So if you bring your energy as if you already cared about that person, like they were a loved one, then how would you sound? This is like my advanced training that I do at my intensives and at my retreats, where it's not just about what you say in an enrollment conversation or in Facebook Lives or things like that, but it's how you say it. It's the nonverbal communication. It's about, what does your energy sound like, So I just drop in and I just am like, yeah, tell me about you. Like, I want to know your story, and I'm curious about people. So I just say, drop into that heart-centered space. Like, one exercise I think about is like, if you're someone like me who can be all up in your head, I don't know about you, but I can be all up here, right? I just imagine myself like truly just dropping into my heart, and then my energy shifts, and then I speak from that space and people feel it, and then they really open up to me. So that's what I do. Okay. Hi, Zeta. Hey, Lee. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Jamie. Okay. Let's see. Jamie says, thank you. I know of many options, but I'd like to hear what works / inspires people who are doing it. Yeah, Jamie, I would say the best ways are through online summits, which again, I do recommend Shanda Sumter for that. And then speaking on stages has been really great. Oh, it's funny. You're saying, I was at the Zone and that's how I'm on your list. That's awesome. Hey, Sheila. Hey, Holly. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Awesome. Well, so great connecting in with you guys, and just know that I do this every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if this has been helpful, then go ahead and put it in your calendar and join me every Thursday. I also love to provide free coaching on these Facebook Lives. So so you can even look at it as your chance to connect in, ask me a question, get some coaching in your business so that you can have your next big breakthrough. And what else? Oh yeah, so I know some of you have been asking questions about my next Powerhouse experience. And I do have a 2-day intensive workshop. It's Powerhouse themed. We're going to be in Rancho Santa Fe. It's about half hour away from San Diego, June 24th and 25th. And we still have, I think we still have like 9 spots. I look over here because I've got all these hearts for names to be filled in. So maybe it's one of you. So I believe we still have 8 or 9 spots available. And if you resonate with me and you're wanting to really break through in your marketing messaging, your copy and content writing, so things like email copy and Facebook Live, like really having juicy content that's consistent and congruent with your marketing messaging and your offerings, as well as needing support in sales, this is going to be the most value-packed 2 days of your life. So we do have spots available. So if you're interested in that and you're available June 24th and 25th, we're going to do a group coaching call beforehand, and then we're going to even have 4 Zoom calls afterwards. It is for an intimate group that is so ready to have their next big breakthrough. Like, we're talking about 12 entrepreneurs, so you're going to get a lot of attention from myself and my team, and we're going to do this in this beautiful house in Rancho Santa Fe. So go ahead and either private message me or pop in the comments below, yes, I'm interested in your workshop, so that we can connect with you. And remember, we're not attached. There's no pressure whatsoever, but either myself or my team will be in touch with you to help you to see if this is your next best step. But it's gonna be super fun, and I know that anyone who attends this is gonna have a massive breakthrough in their messaging, content, copy, and sales. So on that note, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day and week, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye.